Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good, af good evening, everyone. We are from Group 1 from Academic Speaking course. We are here going to discuss about the critical thinking among university students. Okay, the first, of course, we're going to talk about the definition. What would cross your mind if someone said to you critical thinking? We're going to ask this question to Ara first. Desta, go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, the definition of critical thinking is a way as human to think rationally and complexly in response to something or information, and be able to solve problems by analyzing facts in detail to provide judgment. I think that's it for me.
Okay, so Desta said that critical thinking is a way of human to think rationally and complex with analyzing from information that they got before they solve that problem. Good answer. Okay, next we're going to hear the definition from Mai. Go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, the notion of the critical thinking is the ability to get to deep and the critical thinking about everything, innovative, full ideas, informative, and sensitive to all opportunities that exist. By thinking critically, it can make it easier to describe the opinions of the others and not easy to believe just like that. Maybe it's for me.
Okay, thank you, Maya. So Maya said that critical thinking is the ability for human to get used to deep thinking about everything innovative, full of ideas, and informative, and sensitive to all opportunities. So the human that think critical will not be easy to believe in something that they don't really know about. Okay, good answer. So for the next is we're going to talk, I'm gonna ask about, because the title of this discussion is critical thinking among university students. Of course, we're gonna ask about why is it important for the university students to have a critical thinking. Okay, first we're gonna hear from Zahra. Go ahead.
Okay, critical thinking is important because the ability to think critically is a trait that must be possessed in order to build leadership that will be influential for the future. And as we know, we as a college student, we don't only meet on campus to study and meet friends because, as we know, the function of college student for society is agent of change, social control, iron stock, moral force, guardian of value. And it is on this basis that critical thinking is very necessary because an attitude and looking at an issue in society is very necessary. And by thinking critically about something, later student will not be easily provoked by misleading things. Maybe that's all for me.
Okay, thank you. So from what Zahra said, why is critical thinking important to the university student is because the position we are in the community as moral force and guardian of values. So if we have critical thinking, maybe in the future, of course, in the future, we're going to lead this country. And if we have a critical thinking, we're not going to misleading this thing. Instead, we're gonna lead this country and become a better country. Okay, good. And then next from there about why is it important for a university student to have a critical thinking? Go ahead.
Okay, I as a student think that the college student is the highest degree of absorbed and also must be understood. This is the basic reason why students have to think critically. If we can't think critically, it will only absorb a small part of the knowledge. That's it.
Okay, so they have said that the reason why it is important for a university student to have a critical thinking is because if we don't have this critical thinking used to make us absorb more information from knowledge. So if we don't have a critical thinking, we're not gonna absorb the full knowledge, full information from what we know from that knowledge. Okay, good. And then for the next is how to improve critical thinking in university student. According to us, as Zahra just said, we have a role that really important in the society. So we need to keep improving our critical thinking skills. And how to do that? Let's ask Maya first. Go ahead. Maya, go ahead. How to improve critical thinking?
Okay. How to improve critical thinking to how to improve critical thinking is to read more books. Reading books can train thinking because they are able to try to understand the argument that are brought by looking for the most difficult book to understand, and the reading slowly until you really understand. Because mo- uh, because if the masteries must be trained by exercise, then the brain must be trained by reading. Maybe that's for me.
Okay, thank you. So Maya said that reading books is one of the way to improve your critical thinking skills. Because if we read books, we of course gonna gain more information and knowledge from that. So we can improve our critical thinking skills. Okay, next is let's hear it from maybe Dea. Can you?
Okay, how to improve critical thinking skills? I believe that we can improve skills by first read books regularly. With us reading books, knowledge becomes wider. Vocabulary is obtained more and more. The second one is discussing with people around us. The third, trying to solve a problem, whatever the problem. When we face a problem, we often reflect on the issue and look for solution. So thinking becomes broad and critical. And the last one is listen to people debate or discussing something, and we can try share our opinions. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Dea, for your opinion. So other than reading books, they also mentioned the other 3 points of what she just said, that to improve our critical thinking skills, we need people, we need society. We can't only, we cannot improve our critical thing by ourselves. We need to discuss it with other people. We need to try to solve a real problem in real life. And we need to listen to people, to what they debate, what they're discussing, and even we can try to share our opinion on what they discuss about or debate about. Okay, that's a good answer. So I think that's all from our discussion today. We can come to the conclusion that critical thinking is a way of human to think deep, broad, and sensitive about the ideas, that the innovative ideas, to understand more, to can lead, to make that person, to make the university student can lead this country to become a better country. And then it's important because in the future we're gonna have a really important role in in our country. We can become a leader. We can become anything. So critical thinking is usable in every job. So, and there are a lot of ways to learn to improve your critical thinking skills. So keep thinking. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.